Welcome everyone to Real Estate with Gwen Price, and this is the last market update of the year. So I'm ready. I'm ready for Christmas as much as I'm going to. We were talking before.
Me too. I'm ready. I got my Christmas decorations up.
Buying into all the craziness anymore at this stage of my life. I'm trying to keep it, I'm trying to relax during the holidays instead of, my usual chicken with my head cut off kind of thing, because I just want to enjoy it. I just want to be with the people I care about, and that's what I'm aiming for. So, yeah. So anyway, we are ready to talk about. I'll just give a brief little update about the November stats. So our listings, as of comparing it to last year, our listings are up about 3%. Sales are down about 11% at the end of November, and the average sale price is about 17% higher than it was last year at this time, at the end of November rather. But I mean, things, as we know, have been changing, and the peak was around February, March kind of thing, and a slight price decreases here, and it's down about 5%. But that's in general, because there are certain pockets where it would be more than that. But we're still experiencing I have experienced multiple offers on my last listing. I competed on vacant land, so it's interesting. Certain price ranges, still lots of activity, like the 200, 300 kind of thing. And I think a lot of people are still trying to get their foot in the market. And at this time, they're not having to compete. If there's multiple offers, there's not as many. And our average right now at the end of November is 107%. So there are still going over, but it's not as high as it was.
Yeah, you can definitely see that as the sales come up on the hot sheets. The majority of the sales are being negotiated now too, with clients are able to put conditions back in their offers, like so they can have their time to do their due diligence, which is great. And even in a lot of competing offer situations, you're still seeing clients put conditions in the offers, which I think is great. I think, financing condition, home inspection condition, insurance, whatever other due diligence items that you need to put in there. I think it's important that buyers feel that they can get back to that normalcy and getting those things in there. But yeah, the market still has those competing offers, and you do see those over list, but again, you're right, Gwen, it's not like $100,000 in our market here over list so much anymore, which is good, which is great. I think everything's kind of getting back to normal. Even the interest rates, Trina, are rising and maybe normalizing.
The fixed rates, so we have the opposite happening to what we usually have with prime. The Bank of Canada having the prime rate where it is right now, 6.45. The fixed rates are actually lower than the variable rates with the discount on it. So doing lots of switches of clients from not so much people from variable, but people who are coming up for renewal are I'm getting them, if they're not going to go variable, because we all know it will come down eventually, that I'm putting them into 2 to 3 year terms.
So they can take advantage of the fixed rate and then not be locked in for such a duration. So when it does come down, hopefully in 2 or 3 years, you can kind of redo get a better rate again at that point.
Exactly. Not only that, but 5 years is a long time. And I'll say this stat again, that 68% of Canadians refinance their mortgage within their 5 year term. Yeah. And what's going to happen if someone locks into a 5 year term, like right now, with the majority of the lenders that I deal with that are non-banks, their 5 year rate for less than 20% down is about 4.9, whereas the banks are still around 5.5.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That adds up.
Right. And it's just, it seems like they're not jumping on lowering their fixed rates. They're staying up there. And I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe early Christmas holidays for the folks that do that. I don't know. But what's going to happen is if people lock into, I had a client last week say that he was just at his bank and he's up for renewal and they wanted to lock him in at 6%.
So
excellent credit, only like owes like 200,000 on a $900,000 house, just things like that. So what's going to happen if people want to break their mortgage in their 5-year term with the rates being where they are right now, you know, when or if the rates come back down again to like 3.5 or 4 or something like that, and they want to break their mortgage, they're going to have a very heavy penalty.
Yeah.
Because you're locking into that much higher rate for the 5 years. So I'm telling everyone, if you don't want to go variable, go short term.
Yeah.
On a
That
fix.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Listen to your mortgage broker. Listen to your mortgage agent.
yeah,
And the banks are trained to put everyone into a 5-year fixed, right? Like that's just their go-to, and that's, you know, what the script is. So that's what a lot of people are doing, and it's
Yeah.
not
It might be
necessarily
fine
the
for
best
some,
thing.
but it's not a one stop shop, right? It's not necessarily the best advice for everybody.
Well, even on, let's say, a $300,000 mortgage amount, and they break their mortgage halfway through, and there's a 1.5% change in interest rate, that could be a $20,000 penalty.
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah.
So it's important to watch that stuff. But you're talking about offers, and I'm seeing more and more appraisals coming in lower than anticipated.
Oh, wow.
Well, and I think that's kind of to be expected. I would
Absolutely.
think banks are being a lot more conservative on their lending, I would expect. And with the feeding frenzy over, you know, I would expect appraisers have to be more realistic about actual value as well.
Well, and houses, you know, if the house is mint, like they're coming in at the value that I'm figuring, kind of guessing that they're going to come in at. If
Yeah.
they're not mint, what was happening the last 2 years is that we were still getting high appraisal values, but now we're not. Like they're putting more emphasis on how the house actually looks and the upkeep and
The condition, yeah.
make your bed.
Yeah, well, yeah, and of course, as realtors, we're always, you know, please, you know, you go in there and sometimes I just slide them this form that I've got that's, you know, it's like a checklist of what to do as you go through your house and it's like looking at it from a buyer's perspective, but you're right, like, yeah, make your bed and clean, okay? Cleaning can go a long way and give you thousands of dollars, and certainly a nice fresh coat of paint is well worth the investment, but not everybody can. Some people have to sell it the way it is, but yeah, I mean, it says a lot about a house when the condition, as soon as you start walking up the driveway, you're looking, at least, you know, and I'm saying, okay, so what is it going to be like inside? Because then that says to me too, did you look after maintenance items, right? So it's a lot, it's part of the equation when somebody's appraising, right, for the value of a property. So
well, if the little things aren't done, then you're pretty sure that the big things have not been done either.
yeah.
So yeah, maintenance is a big deal. Keep your yard clean, keep your
you know, a small little item, you know, say it's $100 item to fix, but it can become thousands of dollars of a problem if it isn't fixed. And we could be talking about caulking around your window or something. Then if you don't look after those minor little things, they lead to major little things. But we're all guilty. We all come home with blinders on and just want to get in the house and forget about it. But it comes back to face you when you know, we come in as realtors to look at your property, and because we're looking at it the way a buyer would look at it, we're looking at it from that perspective, right? And they're not looking, you know, feeling sorry for you because you got kids and you got dogs and all of that. They want to picture themselves living in there, and it's hard sometimes. But so I mean, things are, you know, I'm always optimistic, and I know we could probably have another interest rate hike, but you know, anybody, like I say, like when you think that we're still 17% higher than we were last year. So if you've bought your property, been there a long time, you still have equity in your house. It's not like it all just disappeared, because we're hearing stories where, you know, the people are waiting for the market to crash and all of this. But I find Sudbury, at least from my perspective, is a pretty solid investment. you know, compared to other parts of the world, you know, the province, whatever. And our prices seem to be stable compared to a lot of places.
Yeah, I agree, Gwen. I think that's definitely true. And the issue, one of the problems is when you hear all these things on the news about the real estate market coming down and crashing or whatever, prices are dropping. It's all subjective to the area that you're in. So you can't, just like in regular time, you know, a balanced market, you can't compare Sudbury to Toronto or Barrie. You know, Toronto gets compared to Vancouver. You can't compare, though. It's like comparing apples and oranges. So you really have to take into consideration the areas themselves to get a better idea. So having an increase of value, you know, year over year here is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, the market, everybody's saying that the market is down. You know, I had an investment guy say to me, well, your house values dropped 20% in the last 6 months. And I'm like, well, no, it hasn't dropped 20%. Maybe they have in Toronto, maybe they have in Vancouver, maybe they have in those higher markets that are just, you know, they've got nowhere else to go but down. But it's not the same in every market is different. Every buying market is different. We're different from North Bay. We're different from the Sioux. We're different from Barrie. We're, you know, you got to really look at it as an individual area. So that's, you know, optimistic news for me to hear that we're still over our value year over year. That, you know, that's good news in our market.
And we're still lower than, and I'm going to compare a little bit, Lana, to centers that the income is the same as ours, like the median income. So we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I think so too. Sudbury's a great place to live. We've got a lot to offer, you know.
Don't tell anyone.
Oh, so we're gonna keep it secret.
Well, you know what I would like to see, and we keep hearing it. I mean, absolutely, affordable housing for low income earners, and I deal, like, again, with a lot of seniors, and I always have those difficult conversations because yes, I can sell your house, but where are you going? And for a lot of people, that's a very difficult thing because we just, and as a taxpayer, I believe in keeping people in their house longer as long as possible. But how do we support those people? So that's a whole other big topic. But you know, there are seniors that would like to sell their house, and that we need that product. But where is that senior going to go that makes sense financially? Because they're no longer working. A widow who never worked outside of the house is living. They've got their old age pension and maybe a supplement or whatever. But where do you find that place that they could go live? And so we also need more flexibility, and this is my opinion, in our bylaws when it comes to allowing secondary units and all. And I totally want to make it safe and the fire and all of that. But some of the restrictions that they've got right now, we need to be more flexible in order to free up maybe a place that a senior can live in. Or somebody who can't afford to buy a house, where are they going to live? So I think there's some apartments out there that could be registered secondary units, and they're not right now because it's a little bit onerous, I feel. That's my opinion, but anyway.
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you. The secondary suite hoops you have to jump through are, some of them are incredibly, in my opinion, unnecessary.
We need more options. We need more flexibility, I think, in order to free up some of these youth, because they're, you and I go into houses all the time and you realize, there's a in-law suite there, which may not be the safest unit for people. So I totally get having regulations, but I think we need to have a little bit more flexibility, just the way things are right now. And so I'm hoping that we get some more affordable housing for people, because we're not all greedy realtors. We're also members of this community, and I'm concerned about low-income seniors and where are they going. So Anyway.
Yep, you're not alone.
Yeah, Sudbury, you're right, Lana. Like Sudbury is a great place to live, and certainly as a mother and a grandmother, I can't imagine. And having gone through everything that we went through with all of this pandemic, I think we were very fortunate to live where we did.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward. I always do. I love the beginning of the year, even though I sort of always panic. Okay, am I going to sell another house? You know, but and of course, yeah, there's always, no matter the market, people want to sell, people want to buy, and our job is to help facilitate that and to make things work. I've always find sort of interested by the concept that we are the ones to blame for the prices, whether it's the seller and the buyer, a willing seller, a willing buyer, that decide the market value. I can't, so far.
We're just the facilitators. We're just the facilitators.
So far, I haven't been able to twist somebody's arm to buy or sell. So, but we are here to help in any way that we can. And certainly, Trina, you can answer their questions when it comes to mortgages, because I sure can't.
That's why we have professionals
That's
to do
right,
that.
Because it's not just that's it, the same for everybody. It's very individualized, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with people with selling transactions, trying to do it on their own. And then what do they do with the offer? And it's just hire a realtor and do it right.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot more things involved than people actually realize, right?
Yeah.
So it is a process. So
For sure.
we just try to do our best. That's all we can do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we're here to and I don't begrudge people trying to save commission, but there's a reason why we are still around, because that's your most valuable asset, and we all should appreciate that, of course. So anyway, I wish you both a very wonderful, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'm excited for 2023. I know there's something about that number that's kind of sticking in my throat, but
yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue quite as easy as 2022. I don't know. I agree.
Wait till we get to 2025. That's just going to be wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas
Merry
to
Christmas,
everyone.
Happy New Year. Get some
Happy
rest, ladies,
holidays.
Yeah.
so we can get ready for next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.